Hi everyone, this is Jim. I wanted to take a look at the 3-3 invasions in this video. So I thought I'd start by looking at the Joseki Dictionary. I'll include a pointer to this website. And you choose a starting point. So point number 3 here, this is the 4-4 point, and that's where we're going to start. The 3-3 invasion is underneath the 4-4 point. So we have a situation like this where your opponent has chosen a corner and played one stone there, and there are no other stones nearby. And then if you place a stone at F here, then that's the 3-3 invasion, because that's the 3-3 point there. And here's what he has to say about it over here in the Joseki Dictionary. It says, F shows the too early San-San invasion, San-San being 3-3 in Japanese, which is not Joseki. So that's not considered a good move, but in fact it's useful in many stages of the game. So too early maybe is a problem, and but we'll talk about why. But also there's a difference between these large games where you have a 19 by 19 board and a smaller game like I've been playing on the 13 by 13 board, where relatively speaking the corner is more important. Here the corner is just a handful of stones compared to the length of the side, for example. So I'll make these points again as we go through this Joseki here. Let's take a look at F, the 3-3 invasion. So once again, it's saying that white 2, that means that stone that was just placed there, the second stone, is not Joseki, but illustrates the possibilities without considering surrounding stones. So typically black will block in one direction or another, right? Black gets to choose at this point. I mean, well, assuming when I'm saying black, I'm meaning whoever is defending, and white is the attacker or the invader. So black can choose to defend along this axis or defend along this axis, and he might choose something different depending upon where his stones are located. So, but for the purposes of the Joseki, it doesn't matter. We'll just show this orientation. So white responds, and now we have these two stones next to each other. And the most common response here from black is A, to try and keep these invading stones confined to as small a place as possible. You can also play at B, and what it says about B is closes off the top side or takes sente. So taking sente means you can play at B, and then after white plays, then you get to play somewhere else because you've sort of effectively stopped the expansion. But A is sort of trying to minimize the amount at which that group of stones can expand, and it's the most common response. Okay, so white continues to try and build a little shape here in the corner. And now black has a number of continuations. So let's look first at A, because this is illustrates one kind of idea here. In this line, black allows white to live. White goes here, black blocks here, and then white comes back and protects. And then black can play anywhere. This is a good point, but could also play somewhere else. And let's look at this. White has lived in the corner, so this is a successful invasion. And in the absence of other stones, you should at least be able to live in the corner. This is sort of the minimum you can hope for with white. Actually, you got quite a bit of space here, it seems like. But what black got is this pretty solid group of stones, which has influence in this direction. So particularly if black has some stones out here already, he may be carving out a big chunk of territory, which is much bigger than the small space that white got in the corner. So that's why this result might be considered good for black. And if white tries to expand further in this direction along the 18th line here, black is in a position to block that off because black is a stone ahead on this side. So white is not going to be able to grow much more. So that's considered a pretty good result for black. But the point is that I wanted to make is that that's only if this is early in the game. If this is late in the game and this is all surrounded by settled territory, that could be considered a success for white to invade here and then take all this territory away from black that maybe black had been mentally thinking of as his own territory in the accounting. So even though it's not Joseki, there's still good reasons to play that kind of invasion, even in a large game. And it all has to do with what else is going on. And, it's So that's the qualifier in the description at the beginning about it being a too early invasion. That's the thing to keep in mind. If it's not early in the game but later on, then and that corner is still unprotected, that 3-3 invasion can be very valuable. Okay, let's go forward to another point. That was black being pretty relaxed. So black could try and come in here a little tighter and try and keep this white space as confined as possible. And now white can break out here, and this is an interesting way to play it. Or white can try and continue with the idea of just making room and living in the corner, making life in the corner. But the move A, the top choice here actually, is it's an Atari on this stone, so it forces black to defend, and then it's an Atari on this stone, and it's actually going to capture this stone. This stone at P, what is that? That's O. That's O18 there. Is a dead stone. It can't be saved. So black gives up that stone, but maybe comes back here. If he's interested in saving the corner, he can come back and counterattack these two stones and win them, and white gets this stone here. So this is another interesting kind of result where white goes into the corner but then chooses at a certain point to branch out and take this space over here. And this could be valuable if white is trying to increase space in the corner that white owns. If white has some territory out here, that might be a useful thing to do. But also, that was white's choice. White also has the choice to play for just holding on to the corner with B, and black blocks. White can come out here, but also at this point, it's not shown as a Joseki, but also white can just play black back in here and just hold on to this space. And if white just wants to have control of that corner, that seems to be fine. It looks like white can get away with this. And let's see, it says black playing an A keeps things simple for black and gives them a good result. Black B is sometimes possible, but black needs to be careful. So attacking this stone may not always be good. I guess it depends on what this stone can connect up with out here. But say black plays it safe, connects his stones here. That's pretty common. Then white can capture a stone here. Black can go inside, and white can get this stone. And black goes there. And that shows that's the end position. I don't know. It didn't have text here. So I don't know what's going on in this position. It could be similar to the other one where white is trying to use these stones to influence this territory here and grab space, and maybe white intends to give up these stones here because it starts to look to me like these are surrounded. So, so when I'm playing these 3-3 invasions, I usually at this point, rather than continuing to branch outside, I usually come back inside and live there. Now there was a third option here at this move I wanted to mention. So that was different ways that black has to respond at this point. We looked at A and we looked at B. Now C seems like the most aggressive response, just immediately cutting back. But there's a comment here. You can play at A if black has the ladder, else B. I'm not sure what ladder they're referring to, so presumably one of these white stones can be caught in a ladder. So let's say white plays at A. I think this is a case where white can live in the corner. White captures this stone, has a good shape here with an eye, and can make another eye over here, and black can seal off white. So, and that's the end of the play, yeah. So there's another example where white can live in the corner. So I think with correct play, and if there's not too many stones in the area, white can always live in the corner with the 3-3 invasion. So this is why it makes it a useful tool at various stages in the game. It's useful in a smaller game at almost any stage to be able to grab the corner and take it away. Although you have to first play, in general, the rule is you play the biggest moves first. So if you've got larger spaces on the board to grab, then you should go for them, the sides or whatever. But the corners count for a lot in those intermediate-sized games, so it makes a lot of sense to do that 3-3 invasion at various points. And the same thing applies in the full-size game. That 3-3 invasion is useful, and but maybe later on, after there's more settled territory and there's no longer any big points to take, you start going for invasions like that to reduce your opponent's space. Okay, I wanted to show you one game. Unlike the other games I've been doing in this series, I'm not going to do a live game, but I'm going to replay a game that I played. recently, and it features a couple of invasions, so it feeds to the topic that we just talked about. And notice that I'm playing a stronger player here. He's got 17Q, pretty good player. I'm at 19Q, and that's still about where my rating is. So I get the black stones, and white has the 5.5 points of Comey, but I get to play first. So I take a corner, he takes a corner, and we get this kind of situation. So we have 2 stones on the 4-4 point. So these are places where there's a possibility of a 3-3 invasion later. And then these other stones are a little bit off the 4-4 point, so a 3-3 invasion is not as likely in these cases. But well, there are other ways to attack the corner. You usually need to complete this corner with a stone over here to really make that territory secure. So anyway, just placing it there. Yeah, so I placed that stone there immediately, actually. So now I'm thinking of this as my territory over here. And he plays a similar move over here. This is from the 4-4 point, going out a knight's move, grabbing a little space over here. And now I approach the one corner that he hasn't played in just yet, and take away this natural defensive move that he wants to play. So he pincers. He attacks my stone from the other side. I step out. This is so the stone doesn't get trapped here. And now he steps out along this side. So he's starting to build territory along the top in this case. And now I block it to try and keep him from expanding too much. And now he starts to put pressure on my stones here and also builds out his corner a little bit. So this corner is looking pretty secure at this point. I make a little tiger mouth shape to try and keep him from advancing any further and trying to secure a little space for my stones to live here. You know, it's possible these stones could get cut off, but it's also possible that I could play here at G9 and connect these stones to my other stones. It all depends. And a better player than I could probably read ahead and tell if those stones are going to be safe or not. But anyway, he attacks my stones immediately, and I have to fill in. That's an Atari there. And then he plays over here. Oh, that's interesting. So if I just click forward, it doesn't make a click, but if I remember where I played and I place the stone down, it makes a click. Okay. I was wondering why there was no sound. Anyway, so I counterattack his stones here, and he fills in. I remember that much. And then I just secure my corner. I didn't want him cutting here and splitting my stones apart. So now I feel pretty good about these stones. I'm not going to lose them. They're connected to this stone, and these stones can be connected together. So, but I have given up a lot of territory in the corner to white. So white's got a lot of space over here. So that might be overall a success for white. I don't know. But these stones, I have something to try and build on. I can try and create some territory in the middle here, as well as use it to hopefully defend the side. So he continues to build over on the side, and that's my idea. Is I'm trying to make some sense of these stones. Possibly I could jump out even further. When you have a wall like this, you can jump out pretty far and still be connected if there's no other stones in the neighborhood. But he already has stones around here, so I wasn't sure how far I could jump. So I just jumped out one space, and then he played over here. This cuts into the amount of space I can build here, and I connected on the side over here, and he approached down at the bottom. So let's go forward a few moves. He continues to invade down here, and I try to defend my corner. So this is a different kind of invasion, and I think he got a little over-ambitious here. He ends up losing some stones here, although it may have been an intentional sacrifice. It's hard to say. Anyway, he placed these 2 stones here, and I try to prevent him from invading, and then he tries to cut here. So I extend this stone. I don't want it becoming too weak, and then I play here. And so this stone at C3, I think that's actually dead already, and I'm about to round up these stones here. But at the same time, white is starting to attack my stones this way. So this is maybe a good play by white. So he doesn't defend these stones at all. He just keeps building towards the center. And now I stop here. If I can play at D1, that will capture that group. But I can play that at any time. As long as I don't have a stone that's about to be lost, I should be okay. I've connected all these stones, These stones have a couple of liberties. These stones have a couple of liberties. So at any time he could attack some of these surrounding stones, and I just have to play at d1 to capture those two. So these stones are dead here, and I've got a pretty good corner. So I've managed to hold on to that corner, and he captures the one stone at f4 there. And now it's my turn, and I place this stone at c8. I'm trying to build territory on the side, and he extends up from these stones that he's got here. He's in his attack over here, in his sacrifice, he's built up some strength in this area. Now he's building on that and cutting into, the territory that I might build with these stones. So I try to limit his influence, place another stone here, try to keep this territory as large as possible, and he tries to limit my influence. So I'm trying to create some shape here and some territory, and he's trying to minimize it. And then he comes back to the side here and goes back to building or increasing his territory on the side. And I try to stop, and then I try to stop him here, and now he goes for the 3-3 invasion. So I don't know if this 3-3 invasion should be successful or not. I have a stone here which is pretty close, and you'll see in the game how this helps to protect. And I also have this stone over here. So he doesn't have a whole lot of room to grow, but if he can build a successful living territory over here, that would be pretty good. But keep in mind he hasn't defended this corner as well, so it might be an even trade. If he invades this corner and I invade this corner and we're both successful, then we would just have to compare the rest of the board. And he's got a big corner over here. He's got some space on the side here. How much would depend on how successful my invasion is. And I have this side over here. So this game is swinging in the balance, although I kind of like, I think white has more space at this point, particularly if, well, no, it just looks that way because I haven't started to invade over here just yet. So I can't really say who's ahead. I think it's still a game that could go either way. So this invasion is kind of a critical point in the game. I block from this side. I want to, if his stone grows, if he tries to increase his stone in this direction, which is what he plays, and I have this stone already here blocking. And then, let's see, I play here to keep it, I'm trying to minimize the amount of space that can grow into. And one difference in the fact that I already had a stone here is when he plays down, I don't have to worry about losing this stone on c9. Whereas if I didn't have the stone on c8, then that stone might be a little weak and he might have ideas of attacking and cutting. And those don't exist. So white's options for invading in the corner have gotten a little bit smaller. And I'm thinking maybe this invasion shouldn't work at all. And I try to be pretty aggressive here and just try and stop it from growing. So I'm actually trying to refute this invasion and prove that he can't invade. And I don't know, I can't say for sure whether this should succeed or not. I can only offer this game and we can look at what happened. Let's see, he played, where did he play? Let's expand. Okay, so he played there. He didn't want me to come around too quickly and just win that group. And I just keep trying to expand and surround that group. So trying to turn this into a capturing race. He expands this way, so he's got one eye space here. And if he could get a stone here and a stone here, a stone at A10 and a stone at A8, then I think he might have a living space there. So it's, you don't need a whole lot of stones to get a good space. Just have to be in the right spots. But it's my turn to move here, and I start taking away space from him. Now I'm threatening to capture these 3 stones, and he has to fill in. Yeah, he did fill in. So I've eliminated that one eye space. So he no longer has 2 potential eye spaces. All he has is 1 potential eye space over here, unless he can counterattack my stones. So let's keep going forward. I surround on this side, trying to keep him from growing. And he cuts this way, kind of a counterattack. And I didn't want this stone coming out over here and killing my stones, so I was trying to stop it. Also, I didn't want it connecting with his stones. I want to attack it and keep it from expanding. And so he went inside here. And now I can capture the stone. I think I did. Yeah. So he didn't respond to that, but he used that sacrifice to try and get a stone over here maybe. Or maybe that was just a mistake. Maybe he could have played here immediately. So perhaps he lost a tempo there. Anyway, I capture that stone. He plays in here. And now he's actually connected underneath. This group of stones and this stone here are connected because if I play here, he can capture it, and if I play here, he can capture it. So even though they look like they might be cut, I can't actually effectively cut those stones. So those are connected. And I have to be pretty careful here that this doesn't expand and connect to this one stone over here that I said earlier was dead, but I never took it. And as long as it's still sitting here, even though it's theoretically dead, if he has a way of connecting to it, it could come back to life. So I have to be pretty careful here. Anyway, I filled in here. He was attacking my stone, and he gets one more. He steps one more step closer to connecting with this stone. So he has this group here, and he has this group here, and they're connected, but there's still not room for two eyes. He can make at most one eye here, and he can, if he connects here, he needs to grow by one more stone so he can make an eye here, and I can just stop him. So it looks to me like he's not going to be able to survive in the corner, but he's a pretty tricky player. He keeps making challenging moves here. First he blocks off over here, and that comes with the tempo. He's attacking my stone, so I have to fill in here. And then he tries to make some space over here by attacking, but that doesn't work. I can just stop this from expanding, and so he gives up on these stones at this point and starts attacking over here. I have a stone that comes under attack, and remember I said if ever these stones come under attack, I have to capture those two stones to save it. So I remembered in time and saved myself by capturing those two stones, and now he switched his attention back up here to this group. He still hasn't given up on rescuing this group. He's just trying to find other ways to get to it. And, this is a good technique. If you have a group that's under attack, you look for the groups that are attacking you and see if there's weak links in the chain of groups that are surrounding you, and see if there's places where you can counterattack. Because if you can capture any one of those groups that's surrounding you, then you completely turn the tables. So that's what these capturing races are all about. Yeah, anyway, this stone was waiting to be captured the whole time, so I finally capture it. I finally have a moment to capture, and he keeps attacking. Let's see, where does he play? Yeah, he plays over here. He's going after these stones now, and I have to make sure that he can't capture these before I capture his stones. But I think it's safe. I play here so that I can capture his stone. Let's see, he takes... Oh, he keeps playing in there. He could have captured that stone. Maybe it doesn't make any difference. Now I capture those two stones. So I can't just ignore this group. I have to keep it alive. And he's trying to attack and eliminate the free space that I have over here, eliminate the liberties associated with this group by attacking it and maybe winning it that way. So it's a kind of a race still. I have to make sure I win this group before he attacks my group. Okay, so I protected these two stones over here. Yeah, I have to worry about those as well. So I play there, keeps him from expanding and protects this little group. So he starts going in again, and I capture that stone. Oh no, I don't capture that stone, which might actually, yeah, that would be a losing move, right? If I were to capture that one stone, he would snap back and capture that whole group. But I can capture these two stones over here. So that was, we back up, that was the point of this move. When I played there, he goes here, I capture those two stones, and this group stays alive for another few moves. Okay, so he plays out here, he's still trying to creep in and attack. So this guy is very resourceful. But now finally I can start chewing up these groups over here. So he gives up finally on those groups, starts playing back in the center, and I capture once more. Probably unnecessary. I mean, I do tend to waste some moves, but I like to be in a situation where I can feel secure that now I'm just one move away from capturing that group, so I know that it's not going to escape. And he starts going after some of my stones in the center, and I try to protect and connect my stones over here. And yeah, so far it's successful. This group is all connected, and now it's connected to this group here and has some eyes over here. He can't jump in here, and if he takes away enough of the liberties, I guess he could, but in that case I can always connect there. So I think these stones are all safe, and I can use them to reduce his territory over here. So we're just kind of filling in This is like a probing move. I tried to see if I could find any weaknesses over in this corner, and he just stops any kind of avenues of expansion. So I gave up on that, and I play the 3-3 invasion. So now it's my turn to invade, and he really does not got stones that are that nearby. This one, I guess it's this stone in H3 is similar to the stone that I had over here, and so maybe white should have played at L4. Maybe that's the way to try and run my stone into that one. He played at K3, and so we get this lineup with a vertical lineup of the two pairs of stones. Let's see, does he block in the normal way? No, he blocks from underneath, so he's trying to kill this group right away instead of playing. The normal move would be to play at L5 here, and in those lines I think I get to live. So he's trying to kill, similar to the way I tried to kill his group. But I think this doesn't work, so I play underneath. And he secures that connection, because actually I was threatening to play at K2 and just win that stone, which would give me life. That would give me enough space to live in the corner. But then I can play down at M1. I'm starting to get a shape here that will turn out to be living. He counterattacks here. I was a little bit worried at this point that he actually was going to succeed in capturing my group. But I played out here because I realized that if he comes into M3, I can connect at L5 here, and his group would only have 2 liberties, and my group, this one would have 1, 2, 3 liberties, and this one had 1, 2, 3 liberties. So actually, if he were to play at M3 and I were to connect, then his group is going to be the one that dies first in the capturing race. I'm going to be able to capture those 2 stones and then probably live in the corner after that. So yeah, because I'll have an eye space here and an eye space there. So he blocks me from playing in the corner, but now I can go after this stone, the stone at M4. And he blocks this way, attacks my stone, but I capture his stone, and now I'm alive. There's an eye here, and then there's an eye here, and if he comes in here, I can capture that. So I'm going to get to play at N5, and that'll make this group of 3 stones is looking at both eyes, and this group of stones is looking at both eyes, which means there's no false eyes there. There's no single place that can be used to capture a group. So at this point, my invasion has succeeded. I had very modest goals for this invasion, but this is a good point to kind of calculate the consequence of an invasion. If in the starting position, he owned all of this territory, and so I've taken away. Well, first of all, I've gained territory. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 points of territory myself. But look at how much I've taken away from him. I've taken away 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I've taken away 12 points of territory from him with my stones and my space. And also, every stone that he placed, aside from the original 4-4 stone that was there, that also takes away from his territory. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 and 12 is 18. So I gained 4 points of territory, and I took away 18 points of his territory. So that's a big swing. And the 2 invasions here, that was the difference in the game. So we continue to play, but basically it's game over. So we just fill in at various points. And I'm using these stones here to try and take space away from him in the center, and he's filling in as much as possible. And so he's got all of this space. These stones are dead here, so he owns all of this space, he owns all of this space, and I own this space over here, tiny little bit over here, and a little bit over here. My space is not all that great. Oh, but I own all this space because I get these stones here. But yeah, the net effect of this invasion that succeeded and this invasion that failed allowed me to win that game. So it was a nice game. Hope you guys enjoyed this detailed commentary on the game, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.